affordable access to reproductive health care and to build a healthier and safer world for women and young people. We admire and applaud her lifetime steadfast support of equal rights and her relentless defense of women's health and reproductive rights, and her promotion of beneficial and necessary services provided by Planned Parenthood in the face of some regressive policies influenced by the current politics. Cecile Richards is not only a champion for women, but a shining example of leadership in public health. I would like to personally congratulate you. I personally applaud you, respect you, and partner with you in your endeavors. We are all grateful to you. We thank you for your vision and your selfless dedication and your lifelong demonstration of unabashed courage. Participating in the degree ceremony are Professors Luisa Burrell, Chair of the Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics, and Professor Diana Romero, Chair of the Department of Community Health and Social Sciences. Ms. Richards, professors, would you please approach the podium?
Dean Almohandes, Chancellor Milliken, faculty members, graduates, family, and distinguished guests. It is an honor to introduce the 2018 CUNY School of Public Health and Health Policy graduation speaker, Dr. Cecile Richards. Cecile's life and work reflect the mission, vision, and values of the CUNY School of Public Health. For the past 30 years as a union organizer, in political campaigns, and as CEO of Planned Parenthood, Cecile has been a tireless advocate who has challenged the status quo, asked difficult questions, and worked to create systems where people have access to the basic building blocks of a dignified life. Jobs that pay a living wage, affordable health care that is of good and high quality, laws and policies that give people equal rights and bodily autonomy. As Cecile's life has demonstrated, the resistance is female, and there is no social or health problem that is either intractable or impossible. Her life's work is based on a commitment to social justice and knowledge that as a society, we only get what we are willing to fight for, nothing more and nothing less. Cecile comes from a long line of troublemakers, and she was in primary school when she was first called out for her actions, and she has not looked back. For the past 12 years, as CEO of Planned Parenthood, she has traveled the country, walked the halls in Congress, and worked to ensure that comprehensive sexual and reproductive health is accessible to all. She knows that women's experiences are seen through the lens of culture and politics, and in her commitment to reproductive health and reproductive justice, she has refused to be shamed, and she has refused to be silenced. And she has fought to have women's voices and lived experiences heard. Through her work, Cecile has perfected the art of making trouble. She is both a strategist and an action-oriented leader, wading into battle for our rights and fierce in her commitment to building a healthier and more just future for all. When Congress came after Planned Parenthood, Cecile fought back. She told the stories that matter about the essential health services that Planned Parenthood provides for women and families across the country. She marshaled the data, she defended the clinics and the providers she worked with, and she certainly never backed down. Ann Richards, Cecile's mother, was once asked what she would have done differently if she knew that she would only have one term as governor, and she responded, "I probably would have caused more hell." I'm confident that no one in his or her right mind could fault Cecile for raising enough hell. I now present to you public health advocate, professional troublemaker, and CUNY's latest graduate. Congratulations to Cecile.
Thank you. Oh, that was so nice. Thank you very much. That was lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Sorry, I obviously have my tassel probably in the wrong place and all of these things, but anyway, I'm incredibly honored to get to be here. Thank you, Dean. It's a real honor to be here too, Chancellor, with you, and thank you for everything you have done for so many students and graduates, to the faculty and the staff and the distinguished alumni and the platform committee. It really is an honor to be here. I mean, after all, what New Yorker doesn't want to finally be on stage at the Apollo? This is incredible. But speaking of dreams, I see a lot of family out here and parents. I had 3 graduations myself as a parent, 2 with enormous pride and 1 with enormous relief. So can we just give it up for all the family and parents who are here today who made this day possible? But of course, most of all, congratulations to CUNY School of Public Health class of 2018. You did it. You are phenomenal. It was so inspiring to see you walk in and to think of what all is ahead of you. I'm actually a little bit jealous because I have to admit I didn't even walk in my own college graduation because at the time the students at Brown University where I went were protesting against the university's investments in South Africa. And during the graduation, somebody had to unfurl the banner from the 2nd floor window, and so that happened to be me. But yeah, well, that was entertaining, and obviously it was possibly a futile gesture. But I think I like to open with that because actually Brown did divest from South Africa. In fact, it was one of the first schools that did so. And yes, and then of course history moved on, and it was enormously gratifying to go back to my alma mater 30 years later to not only get an honorary degree, but it was the same year that they honored Nelson Mandela with an honorary degree. And so I think it's such a good, it's just a reminder that like change is hard and it takes time. And as of course, as the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used to say, the arc of the moral universe is long and it bends towards justice, but no, more often than not, we have to bend it ourselves. And that's really, I think, what you are going to be about in these next several years. You came to CUNY because you chose to apply your brilliance and your energy to public health. And there is no more noble or urgent calling, as the dean said. And so I guess if there is one piece of advice I could give you today, which I think we kind of already got, it's that to do this and to do it well, you're going to have to create social change that we need, and you're going to have to make some trouble. As my friend, the great civil rights leader John Lewis would say, Congressman John Lewis, make good trouble. And that really is what it's all about. That's something I had the privilege to do over the last 12 years at Planned Parenthood, an organization that's been making trouble for more than a century now. And I was reading about the work that you've done already here and around the world. It's just so incredibly inspiring that the education you've gotten here at CUNY, a school with a very long legacy of standing up for social change, it's giving you now, I think, the chance and the skills and the relationships to change lives and to change the world. So as graduates, you are probably all headed in very different careers and futures, but united by this important belief. And again, as the dean said, I think it's more important that we remember what we're here for, and that is that healthcare is not a privilege in this country. It is a fundamental human right, and we have to stand up for that every single day. But we have to hold that truth up because it's being tested and threatened every single day. And so we're seeing, of course, such enormous difference in this country about your ability to access health care depending on your gender orientation, your race, your geography, your income, your zip code, and more and more and more. I mean, my home state in Texas, and where I am from, where people in need of a safe and legal abortion are now forced to drive 200 and 300 miles to access safe and legal care. Or right here in New York City, where we know we have one of the highest rates of maternal mortality in America for black women. That's inexcusable. That has to change. And in sub-Saharan Africa, where treatable, preventable diseases like AIDS and TB and malaria too often can be a death sentence. And all over this country, where millions of immigrants daily now are denied healthcare access, and millions more go without because they're afraid to even try. These inequities don't exist because we don't know how to solve the problem, but so many times people in power haven't either been pushed to solve the problem or cared enough, or even yet worse, sometimes they're causing the problem. We're living through a lot of that today, and for example, I think some of you may have read already, it was reported last week, this administration is now announcing a plan to implement something that's never happened before, and that is a domestic gag order in the United States of America. And this is, to me, this is a new low, because it would essentially say that doctors and clinicians, healthcare providers that work in the family planning program in this country cannot refer their patients anymore for access to safe and legal abortion. It's a policy that also will result in fewer patients with low incomes being able to access birth control and cancer screenings and the kind of women care a lot of folks depend on through the family planning program. And of course, it's a policy that ultimately injects politics into the doctor-patient relationship. So these are the kinds of issues you are immediately going to be facing if you work in the area of public health. And so you're the ones who we're counting on, who care enough and who will agitate enough to demand more and demand better. Because to change health outcomes, you have to change healthcare systems, and that means not only diagnosing the problem and doing the research, but then advocating. You're going to find folks that don't agree with you. And in fact, if you're advocating for something and everyone agrees with you, you probably need to set your sights a little bit higher. That would be my advice. And folks ask me all the time, well, I can't believe that we're still fighting in this country over Planned Parenthood and reproductive health care. And of course, I can believe it because it was so hard even just to get there. For 101 years, every single advance was made through a fight. One of my favorites, just to remind some of you who can't even imagine this is true, but birth control, it wasn't until 1957, which is not that long ago, that the FDA finally approved the birth control pill. And it's interesting because when they approved it, it was only for what were described as menstrual disorders. But the package came with a very big warning label that said it can prevent pregnancy. And suddenly, an unusually large number of women reported severe menstrual disorders. And that's how they began to use the pill. And of course, it wasn't until Estelle Griswold over in Connecticut was arrested at a Planned Parenthood for giving out birth control, and her case went to the Supreme Court, that we finally got birth control legalized for married couples. I mean, this is how crazy the fights we've had to be in. And you'd think something that was used by 9 out of 10 women in this country wouldn't be controversial, but even under the Affordable Care Act, it was a knockdown, drag-out fight to get birth control covered. We had experts make the case. We had young people on college campuses dress up in gigantic birth control packs and agitate and come to Washington, D.C. But all of that, it added up to a lot, because one day my phone rang at the office of Planned Parenthood. It was one of the best days of my life, and it was President Obama calling, which I just love to say that. It was President Obama, if you can remember. There was a day. But he called to say, yeah, let's give it up for President Obama, exactly, who believed in public health and who created a HHS that believed in public health. But anyways, the president calling me to say, finally, after all this and all the campaigning, that he was about to announce at the White House that day that from now on, all women in their insurance plans would get birth control covered at no cost in America, and it was revolutionary. And now more than 62 million women in this country have that benefit because of that organizing. And the reason why it matters is, well, women saved like $1.4 billion the first year, but you know what else matters is public health, folks. We are now at the lowest rate of teenage pregnancy ever in the history of the United States of America. And that's something worth fighting for. It's one of the biggest public health care victories and success stories of the 21st century, but of course, it's all hanging in the balance under this administration. I mean, of course, we had the last year and a half were the fight to protect Obamacare and to defeat the efforts to block access to Planned Parenthood. And thanks to activists and folks all around the country, not only, well, Planned Parenthood's doors are still open, so I like to make note of that. We won that fight. And just as an example of why keeping Obamacare was so important, I don't know if you noticed, but just yesterday, the state of Virginia finally passed a bill that now will expand Medicaid for nearly 400,000 people in the state of Virginia. And that was worth fighting for as well. And that's really what it's about. I mean, that's what your work is going to be about, is to keep persisting, because that's what we had to do at Planned Parenthood. In fact, one of my last acts was going to cut the ribbon on a brand new health center in Charleston, South Carolina, which wouldn't have made news in and of itself, but it's the first time we will have a health center that provides access to safe and legal abortion in Charleston, South Carolina, as well as transgender care for our transgender patients. And you got to believe it took some troublemakers to do that, so give it up for them. I mean, that's what we have to be doing, is just continue to do it even when they say we can't. And I think the number one goal that all of us have to focus on now, of course, is healthcare equity. Because you have a right to healthcare doesn't mean anything if you can't actually get access to it. It's young activists and thinkers and leaders like you who are going to change this. I've read about the incredible work you're doing already, studying the impact of bad abortion laws in Texas and access to midwifery care across New York State, taking on public education and advocacy campaign around nursing moms in the workplace. Let's give it up for that. It's about time that is no longer a stigma. And training people to work in public health to support the transgender community. I have heard the most heartbreaking stories of the barriers that transgender people in this country go through for care, and that can't happen anymore. And then, of course, helping parents and teens talk about sexual health everywhere, including Tanzania, and so much more. Many of you have been activists and troublemakers your whole time here, not only speaking out for this and for reproductive health care and rights, but championing the rights of LGBTQ Americans, shining a light on sexual assault and harassment, which has got to be done, working for environmental justice, and taking part in the March for Our Lives. Because if you hear nothing else today, please hear this. Make no mistake, gun violence is a public health care epidemic in America, and we have to do something about it. So you obviously could have chosen an easier path. You could have let the public health in places like Texas and sub-Saharan Africa or New York City be someone else's problem. But that's not what you signed up for when you dedicated your life to public health. You raised your hand to be part of life-changing work, and there are millions of people who are counting on you, including me. I don't know how you're going to choose to make your mark, but my only request is you think about doing it on the front lines. So every graduation speech is supposed to end with some pearl of wisdom. I have very little wisdom, but so mine comes from my mother, the late great Ann Richards, the governor of Texas, who was a troublemaker in her own right, as you've heard. My mom was from Waco, and she went to a Baptist school, Baylor University, where she said everything they did was more fun because it was either against the rules or it was a sin. So they were in trouble a lot. But she did have a lot of good advice, but the most memorable for me was that public service is a noble calling. She said, you know, you could go somewhere else and make a lot of money, perhaps and likely with less stress, but you'll never have the kind of reward you get when someone looks you in the eye and says, thank you for making my life better. So, CUNY graduates, find your place in the fight and do it with the understanding that you're part of a much broader effort, united by the values that we share, the lessons that you've learned, and the future that we're building together. So thank you, and congratulations, class of 2018. You're fabulous. Thank you.
It is now my honor. First of all, thank you for such a speech and leading us all on the tomorrow. All of us need that encouragement to start again, renew our commitment to our personal mission and our professional mission. And I think that, Cecile, you have proven to us that you're just indomitable. And that's the spirit that we need in public health every day. Graduates, it's my pleasure also to inform you that our advisory board chair and interim foundation board chair, Dr. Lyndon Haviland, has generously purchased copies of Cecile Richards' new book, Make Trouble, for each and every one of you. And that Ms. Richards, not only that, wait. Ms. Richards autographed every copy. They're back there and they will be distributed on your way out. When you leave with your gowns and caps, you'll be given a copy of the book, signed by our champion, Cecile Richards. Thank you, Cecile. And thank you, Lyndon. It is now my honor to present the 2018 Champion of Public Health Award. Sergio Matos is the co-founder and executive director of the Community Health Worker Network of New York City. The Champion of Public Health Award recognizes Mr. Matos' leadership in identifying and preparing community health workers who advocate, educate, and interface with health and social service care providers to address the needs of underserved New Yorkers and beyond. Mr. Matos has been a community health worker for over 30 years and has worked to help communities organize around issues of environmental and social justice, hunger, chronic disease management, and social and economic issues that affect their health. And in this time of urgency, we especially applaud his effort on behalf of immigrants to provide social support and empowerment. His lifetime commitment to public health has made an impactful and positive change towards improving the health of New Yorkers. Thank you, Sergio. Thank you for believing in community self-help as a force in population health when no one else seemed to think it possible. You have been a champion for many years. We thank you for your tireless efforts and we applaud you for your political and personal courage. Thank you, Sergio. Please applaud. It is my honor to present you with the Champion of Public Health Award 2018. Thank you.
Use your name in case you forget who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope not. So good evening. I want to take a moment to thank Dean Iman and the faculty of the CUNY School of Public Health for this incredible recognition and award. I also want to take a moment to congratulate the graduates this year and to congratulate your families, your children, your spouses, and all of those who contributed to your ability to attend and complete your educational career here at CUNY. I am very grateful for this award. I will tell you, I asked the dean earlier if I might just take a moment of your time to express a very personal and specific note of gratitude. I am a CUNY graduate, and when my mother was dying, I was in high school, and she made me promise that I would finish high school. And she said the one thing, and she remember very clearly the night she died, she told me, my job is not finished, my work is not done, but you're gonna have to do it by yourself now, because I can't be there with you. But I need and I want for you to go to college. Now I gotta tell you, I'm an internal migrant from the island of Borinquen. And if you think it's fun being a part of the United States and not being a state, I would encourage you to look at the damage, the public health damage inflicted by Hurricane Maria last year upon my homeland, and a public health crisis which still persists. But be that as it may, at the age of 17, I had no idea what going to college meant. No one in my family had ever been to college, and I didn't quite understand what that meant. But there was CUNY. I did live in New York City, and I was blessed with the opportunity to go to CUNY. And so I applied, I didn't have any particular dreams, only except that my mother had asked me to complete this task on her deathbed. And so I went to college. I remember that my first semester in school cost me $23. And I think that was a student fee, and it was the only $23 I had. But I got to go to college. And so I went to CCNY, and I majored in chemistry. I don't know why again, except that I had found an elder man, a gentleman who became my mentor, and he encouraged me, and he told me that a chemistry education would give me a well-rounded background that would serve me for the rest of my life. Now, I'm 17. When people tell you the rest of your life, it wasn't that important to me at the time. But I will tell you that I have held many different jobs, many different opportunities have come their way. I have worked in 9 different countries in the Caribbean, building community capacities to address public health crises. I've worked across the United States and Hawaii to do some of the same. I've built workforce standards around this particular workforce called community health workers. And throughout my professional career and my life, I have always felt able and competent to take on the task, and I owe that to CUNY. CUNY gave me a preparation that has allowed me to really pretty much do anything that I set my heart to. And I also want to say that CUNY is a very special place in that people don't generally come to CUNY right out of high school. People come to CUNY with a life history, and a valuable life history, a life history which contributes to the development of their education and future professional abilities. And so it's a very special type of a school in that it does provide that opportunity for adults. And that's why I think it's so important to congratulate you, certainly, for having achieved this enormous milestone. But to those members of your family and support systems that have made that possible for you also. So your mom, your dad, your cousins, your babysitter, your children themselves, that made it all possible. I want to thank all of you. My pearls of wisdom, I have nothing as profound to say as what my mother told me when I was 17. And that was, Sergio, go to college. Thank you.
Now the fun begins. First, our graduate awards. Believe me, in my heart, I would have liked for each of you to receive a special award, because each of you has had a special trajectory and a special success. But we have chosen from within you, and you'll see why. They're good representatives. We have an extraordinary cohort of graduates this year, and at this time I would like to recognize 7 students who are receiving the 2018 Dean's Excellence Awards because through their scholarly achievements, service contributions, and triumph over adversity, they truly exemplify our public health values. The Dean's Merit Award for Scholarship is awarded to a student who has demonstrated outstanding excellence in her academic training, Samantha Raymond from the Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics. Samantha. Before I present you with this, let me say a few nice things about you. Ms. Raymond is a stellar student who has maintained a perfect 4.0 GPA. Trained in both psychology and basic sciences, she brings her own perspective to epidemiology and public health. An excellent writer and data analyst, Ms. Raymond demonstrates a deep understanding of the policy, medical, and design issues involved in her research. Her work has been recognized beyond the school. She has had abstracts accepted for presentation at multiple conferences, a scientific manuscript accepted for publication. We honor these impressive achievements as well as the deep curiosity and enthusiasm that drives Ms. Raymond's pursuit of learning in public health. The comments that were provided to me by your faculty are really heartrending. You should be very, very proud of who you are and what you've achieved. Congratulations. I think, hold on. The Dean's Merit Award for Research is awarded to 2 students, Audrey Renson and Alex Karnick. This is obviously not Audrey. I know. First, we acknowledge Audrey Renson, who cannot be here today. Ms. Renson used cutting-edge metagenomic tools to analyze microbiomic profiles and was the lead author on a scholarly paper summarizing this work. She will begin her doctoral studies in epidemiology at the University of North Carolina this fall. Congratulations, please, to Audrey. Alex Karnick is here with us in the flesh. His professor describes him as probably the brightest and most scientifically minded student encountered in his years as a faculty member in the MPH program. For his capstone project, Mr. Karnick developed obtained data, and conducted analysis at a level of independence that far exceeded the normal expectations for master's students. Moreover, we understand that he has written a scholarly paper of such extraordinary caliber as to put established investigators to shame. In short, Mr. Karnick possesses in abundance all of the skills needed to be a distinguished leader in public health, one whom our school will be proud to call an alum. Congratulations, young man. Let's take a picture. The Dean's Merit Award for Service is awarded to William Hagan and Frank Verney. I will be flanked by 2 distinguished gentlemen. Come here. In September of 2017, during his last semester at CUNY School of Public Health, Will Hagan was moved by reports about the devastation in Puerto Rico caused by Hurricane Maria. He responded to an email asking for volunteers and was soon assigned to the second of 2 disaster relief teams organized by the Greater New York Hospital Association, the Healthcare Association of New York State, and the Governor's Office. He served as a liaison officer for the second team, which consisted of 78 healthcare providers from 5 different New York hospitals. Mr. Hagen put his public health and emergency management skills to use, working in the Health and Human Services Command Center, where he was responsible for daily situational reports, team accountability and logistics, and communications with leadership in New York. Frank Verney, on the other hand, is an active duty officer in the U.S. Public Health Service and was deployed to Florida, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands to assist with the Hurricane Irma and Maria recovery effort. He was deployed for 4 weeks during his final semester as an MPH student, and yet still managed to graduate on time with a 4.0 GPA. Impressive. Mr. Verney also volunteers as a pharmacist in the New York City Medical Reserve Corps, and in line with the Surgeon General's new opioid initiative, he is currently part of the panel that gives presentations to high school and grammar school students regarding the dangers of opioid use and, in certain situations, how to administer naloxone, the emergency opioid overdose treatment. Can I be more proud? The Dean's Merit Award for Commitment is awarded to Jasmine Drake for her outstanding academic and leadership performance under extraordinary circumstances. Jasmine? Haven't known you to be shy. Jasmine Drake's passion in community health. Whether she is facilitating health education workshops in schools, coordinating volunteer fitness training, or assisting patients to navigate and manage their diabetes care. During the course of her education, Ms. Drake experienced extreme personal hardship related to unstable housing and health problems. In the face of these challenges, she continued to carry a full graduate course load and meet the demands of her job as a health educator in the South Bronx. Ms. Drake is determined I lost my line. Ms. Drake is determined to use her public health skills to serve the community where she grew up and successfully struggled to avoid the ravages of poverty, violence, and drugs through her pursuit of education. Congratulations. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Give me a hand.
Thank you.
Let's take a picture.
Yes.
The last of our graduate awards is the Dean's Dissertation Award, presented this year to Sarah Verone Flanagan for the excellence and public health significance of her doctoral dissertation. Please come to the podium. Sarah's dissertation, Reducing Arsenic Exposure from Private Well Water in the United States, the Use, Effect, and Potential of Testing Requirements, examined strategies for protecting residents whose drinking water is contaminated by naturally occurring and carcinogenic arsenic. She skillfully combined quantitative and qualitative methods, integrated primary and secondary data sources, and used an interdisciplinary framework with roots in the disciplines of health communications, environmental sciences, and health policy. She has already successfully published multiple articles based on this work, which represents a significant contribution to public health. I am very, very proud to call myself your dean. Congratulations. You're going places, young lady. We're making progress, I promise you. Faculty Awards. For our second commencement as an independent school, we are inaugurating a series of annual awards to our faculty, recognizing those professors whose teaching, mentoring, research, and practice are exemplars of excellence, and whose work inspires and spurs us all in our mission to improve the health of individuals and populations. Our first responsibility is training the next generation of public health scholars and practitioners. And today we honor a faculty member whose excellence in teaching sets a standard to which all public health educators should aspire. Lynn Roberts, the 2018 I'll tell you a secret. Whenever I'm depressed, I read the students' evaluations of Lynn. They really perk me out. In Dr. Roberts' 20-plus years of teaching, she has consistently received stellar student course evaluations, served as a teaching resource to fellow faculty, and been in vanguard with regard to development and implementation of innovative teaching approaches. Dr. Roberts has created numerous new courses and been an early adopter of hybrid and online teaching modalities. She has successfully integrated social justice, theory, and practice into rigorous public health curricula and published scholarly articles on pedagogical innovations. Dr. Roberts is a master's teacher, and we are privileged to have her among our faculty. Lynn. Mentoring is a critical component of both student and junior faculty development and demands substantial skill and commitment on the part of the mentor, who is meant to impart wisdom, teaching, and support. Our 2018 Excellence in Mentoring Award goes out to my dear Dr. Elizabeth Kelvin, who cannot be here today with us. She's on sabbatical. Dr. Kelvin was nominated for the generosity with which she uses her deep knowledge of biostatistics and epidemiology and medical research to help other faculty and students approach public health questions. Applause for Dr. Kelvin. For our award for excellence in research, we have two awards, one for senior faculty and one for junior faculty. Both are based around excellence in conducting impactful public health research in an inclusive and collaborative fashion. Our Senior Research Award this year goes out to my dear Dr. Dennis Nash. Dr. Nash's talent for obtaining external research funding and implementing large projects is nothing short of extraordinary. But it is the degree to which he has built opportunity for fellow faculty members, students, and postdocs that compelled his colleagues to nominate him for this award. 3 years ago, he launched the CUNY-wide Institute for Implementation Science in Public Health, which has already made dramatic contributions to disease prevention in New York and around the globe. He has built a rich collection of research and programmatic partnerships with government, NGOs, and other academic institutions. In the process, creating numerous research roles for SPH academic community. Dr. Nash is also deeply generous in involving others in the grant proposal that he submits and in helping others prepare their own proposals. Dr. Nash's outstanding research productivity, coupled with his commitment to helping others achieve their own research success through mentoring and open collaboration, makes him the ideal candidate for the CUNY School of Public Health Senior Research Award. Dennis, congratulations. Our Junior Research Award goes to a rising star amongst our junior faculty, Dr. Emma Tsui. They must have kept it a secret. They were so surprised. Hello. Dr. Tsui represents all we hope to see in a public health researcher: exceptional methodological skills, innovative work, and commitment to team-based scholarship that bridges academics, policy, and practice. Her groundbreaking research has shed light on the role that low-income food workers play in the delivery of healthy food initiatives, which are shaped by federal and local nutrition policy, as well as how healthy food initiatives influence the well-being of workers themselves. Her studies are innovative for their focus on an understudied and marginalized population, and have been published in the American Journal of Public Health Nutrition and Food, Culture and Society, all signature journals in public health and food research. At this relatively early stage of her career, Dr. Tsui has already made a lasting impact in research and the intersection of community and occupational health. Thank you, Emma. We are so proud. Social justice is an integral component of our public School of Public Health's vision. Including the voices, perspectives, talents, and energy of the communities with and for whom we work is not merely an optional approach. It is the work. It is the work. This year, we present the award for community participation relations to an individual who has dedicated his career to that principle, Dr. Nicholas Freudenberg. Congratulations. I'm personally humbled by Nick Freudenberg's achievements during his illustrious public health career. Check him out on Google. For the entirety of his 35 years career, he has been the embodiment of community engagement in applied public health research and practice, working with community organizations and leaders, groups, churches, city agencies, and social movements to improve population health and reduce health inequities in low-income New York City communities. Since creating the CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute just 3 years ago, he has worked with 4 settlement houses, 5 community development corporations, and numerous other groups to develop, implement, and evaluate community-based food interventions designed to increase access to healthy food, reduce diet-related disease and food insecurity, protect food workers, and create more sustainable local urban food systems. He is playing a key role in helping to develop community-based food justice leaders, facilitating CUNY students to gain experience working for food justice in communities throughout New York City, and providing tools and policy analyses that empower community organizations to claim a voice in shaping their local food environments. Believe me, this is only a very, very abbreviated acknowledgement of his many significant and impactful achievements. It is an honor to present you with a very, very much deserved award. Thank you, sir. Well, that concludes our graduate and faculty awards. Can we give them all a collective round of applause? It is now my distinct pleasure to move on to the valedictory address, which will be delivered by a dazzlingly accomplished student to whom you have already been introduced, as she also received the Dean's Award for Excellence in Scholarship. The CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy's 2018 valedictorian, Ms. Samantha Raymond.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Dean Almohandes, our faculty and staff, honored guests, partners, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2018. On my very first day of graduate school, 3 long years ago, our professor began my very first class, and within minutes I was panicking. I felt like there was no way I could sit through a 2-hour lecture that night, let alone for the rest of a semester. I considered dropping out. I think something about a small classroom made me feel like I was back in high school again, and I was reminded of feeling suffocated. But I stuck it out through that first class, and my first impression couldn't have been more wrong. Not just because that class was excellent, and I actually still reference those epi notes, but because CUNY has been anything but suffocating. We've been lucky enough to have outstanding professors, leaders in the field who give generously of their time and expertise, who patiently answered our questions and respected and encouraged our interest. The faculty here at the CUNY School of Public Health has taken the responsibility for educating us seriously. They've treated us like future leaders in public health until eventually we believed it too. And maybe even more importantly, we've been lucky enough to have each other. My classmates have pushed me to be better and to think harder and more carefully than I even thought possible. I had many a train ride home with friends where I learned almost as much as I learned in class, or I was really challenged to think beyond what I had assumed. And many of us were working jobs along the way, often in the field, meaning that every classroom was so full of experience from all parts of New York City, the country, and the world. I have truly felt inspired these past few years, and I'm deeply grateful to have gone to school with people who are so thoughtful, open-minded, and willing to serve. People who support each other without a second thought. I'm so looking forward to seeing what you all do next. And as you move forward, I encourage you to keep in touch with each other. Sometimes all it can take is a text or a cup of coffee. Your classmates are people that you can lean on and be inspired by, that can help you decide on your next career move or connect you with new opportunities. I also hope that keeping in touch with each other can help you stay connected to the idealism that brought you to public health and to CUNY in the first place. It's the kind of idealism that maybe you can only have when you're in school. It's idealism that is a little naive, perhaps, but it's also energetic, hopeful, and so full of potential. The job hunt can feel daunting, and I know graduation is a time that can be full of challenging transitions. But if we can keep in touch with the call that brought us all to this field in the first place, I think we're going to be just fine. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2018.
Now to the fun part. Dr. Lynn Roberts, this year's recipient of the Excellence in Teaching Award, will now present our graduates.
Thank you, Dean Almohandes. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health and Community Health Education. The department co-chairs, Dr. Diana Romero and Dr. Sandra Echeverria, will present the graduates. I'm going to try not to cry. Patricia Ross Spiller. Nadia Tenij. Bobby Paul. Rue Silver. Olivia Perlmutt. Sarah Spunt. Tamar Pot. Ruchi Mather. Amrita Sira. Susanna Banks. Annie Sumberg. Corey Richardson. Melinda Garcia. Tiffany Phillips. Melissa McLeod. Vanessa Hussein. Danielle Hussein. Reem Al-Harazi. Catalina Gonzalez. Modepe Oluya. Devin Cho. Preeti Joshi. Julian Meyer. Jeanette Anim. Maria Regalado. Jasmine Drake. Frank Verney. I think he has. Thank you. Thank you. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health Dual Degree Program. Sarah Sanson. I think it's you. Yes. Tiffany Roberts. Seema Mathavan. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health in Environmental and Occupational Health Sciences. The department chair, Dr. Mary Schooling, will present the graduates. Adrian J. Allen. Rudy Milord. Michelle Dominique Pin Tia. William Hagan. Marina Jobski. Sandra Bidoft. Marcy Longo. Meghna Chaudhary. Margaret Ryerson Baker. Stay there, Mary. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health in Geographic Information Science. The department chair, Dr. Mary Schooling, again will present the graduates. Margaret Ryerson Baker, again. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health and Nutrition. And yet again, the department chair, Dr. Mary Schooling, will present the graduates. Sandra Berdeguet Joie. Fatila Ceballos. Salida Gonzalez. Leah Gorham. Catherine Geary. Sydney Leone. Christy Wong. Brittany Henry. Are you finished? Or do you have one more? We have Masters of Science in Environment and Occupational Health Sciences? Okay. And these will be presented by, once again, Dr. Mary Schooling. Lando Wissereth. Christina Marie Van Pala. Carly Blair. Junior Smith. Nicola Farina. George Hercules. Pin Santos. Quay Win. Thank you, Dr. Mary Schooling. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health in Epidemiology and Biostatistics. The department chair, Dr. Louisa Burrell, will present the graduates. Ileana Kaplowitz. Laura Harrison. Imali Pereira. Ariel Ford. Ariel Elizabeth Ford. Aurora Zapatos. Felicia Castillo. Gail Meyerson. Trisha Teo. Sabani Gurung. Ephraim Trop. Yanting Kelly Wang. Natalia Irvine. Jackie Finnick. Kathleen Rosales. Rushali Gupta. Jaya Amatia. Begita Kathayat. Samantha Raymond. Thank you, Dr. Burrell. We will now recognize graduates from the Masters of Public Health in Health Policy and Management. The department chair, Dr. Betsy Eastwood, will present the graduates. Cecile Nelson. Snig Da Gindal. Samantha Jean-Baptiste. Avery Bowser. Isa Del Signore Dresser. Sarah Benowitz. Joseph Travis. Roxanne Martin. Griselle DeFrank. Allison Foyer. Jordan Lomark. Onisa Bowden. Giselle Caballera. Catherine Diaz McInnes. Albert Williams. Neil August. Guarionex Emmanuel Acosta Bonifacio. Stephanie Tineo. Rinzin Wangmo. Alex Karnick.
A round of applause to all our MPH graduates. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge another group of students who have successfully passed an important milestone in their public health education. Our advanced certificate in public health is a rigorous 4-credit program of study that is exactly the same as our program for our master's degree core curriculum. Successful completion of the certificate is a commendable achievement. 50% of our certificate graduates move on to complete their master's degree in public health. I would like the advanced certificate graduates to stand up for a round of applause. Whether you proceed with your career or we see you in the MPH classes, you are most welcome amongst us. Congratulations. Presentation of our doctoral graduates. Dr. Roberts, please proceed with the hooding ceremony.
It is now time to recognize our doctoral students. Each student will be hooded by the director of the doctoral program and their doctoral committee chair. Dr. Christian Grove and Dr. Terry Wong will hood Olivia Barata, Olivia Barata Cavalcanti, who will receive her Doctor of Public Health in Community, Society, and Health. Dr. Christian Grove and Dr. Terry Wong will now hood Margaret Margreta Horlik Romanowski. Who is receiving her DPH in Community, Society, and Health. Thank you, Drs. Grove and Wong. Dr. Alexis Posen and Dr. Betsy Eastwood, please come to the stage. They are hooding Shirley Berger, who will receive her DPH in Health Policy and Management. And now Drs. Eastwood and Posen will hood Janice Chisholm, who will receive her DPH in Health Policy and Management. I'm going to call to the stage because of who's standing here. I thought it was a different order, but Dr. Diana Romero and Dr. Christian Grove. Who will hood Sonia Gonzalez, who is receiving her DPH in Community, Society, and Health. And Dr. Romero and Grove will now hood Andrea Melnikis, who will receive her DPH in Community, Society, and Health. Oh, thank you. I was wondering what happened. That's what I did. Dr. Grove, please stay there. And you will be joined by, no, please stay there. And Dr. Nicholas Freudenberg will hood Sarah Flanagan, who will receive her DPH in Community, Society, and Health.
Our 2018 Champion of Public Health, Sergio Matos, will join me at the podium, please, and will now lead our graduates in the Public Health Pledge. You can find the Public Health Pledge in the last page of your program. Please open your programs. Come to the microphone.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, Cecile, did you see that rowdy crowd right there in front there? I think you could get them to cause some trouble. So once again, my congratulations go out to all of the graduates and your families and loved ones. I wonder if I can ask you to assume a position of dignity and respect as you take your pledge before the world. Thank you. I pledge to do all within my power
I pledge to do all within my power
to safeguard human and environmental health
to safeguard human and environmental health
through prevention, protection, promotion, and educational efforts.
prevention, protection, promotion, and educational efforts.
I will accept the responsibility
I will accept responsibility
to use all my talents, training, and professional experience
to use all my talents, training, and professional experience
to instill public trust in all of my public health endeavors.
to install public trust in all my public health endeavors.
It is my personal commitment
It is my personal commitment
to serve my community with integrity and pride.
to serve my community with integrity and pride.
Congratulations.
Okay. So this is your time, graduates, to acknowledge and thank those that stood by you, behind you, with you, alongside you, that helped you achieve this important moment in your life. Would you please stand up and face your friends, your families, your children, your neighbors, your loved ones that deserve today to be acknowledged by you. Okay, you can sit down. Now, they may have instructed you when you came in to put away your cell phones, but I'm also a troublemaker. So I will ask you, if you don't mind, to bring out your cell phones and turn them on. And once you turn them on, look for this camera icon, please. And then turn it around towards yourself. There you are. I got a very nice picture of me. And smile and take the best selfie of your entire life. I did tell you that in my many decades of a public health career, I never regretted a moment. But what I didn't tell you was that it's not always going to be easy. This is a moment that you should remember. This is a moment that you should document. And you will take many pictures. Some have already been taken with your professors, with your dean. You will take other pictures with your family and friends later, after the ceremony. But I want you to remember this picture, This picture represents your personal achievement. No one, but no one, can take this moment away from you. Bring this picture back when you feel that you need encouragement and when you need to find your inner sunshine, your inner strength, and your inner hope. Congratulations, this moment is yours. Okay, as you leave the theater, you will find some of the School of Public Health staff waiting to give you your book and your CUNY School of Public Health magazine. And for those of you that have RSVP'd for the reception, following graduation, it is taking place around the corner at Alhambra Ballroom. We will see you there. Remember that as you exit the auditorium in procession, you pick up your copy as you leave. And friends and family and guests, you have been so well behaved. Please remain seated until the graduates have processed out of the auditorium. And please allow me, as the Dean of the Graduate CUNY School of Public Health and Health Policy, to congratulate my faculty, my colleagues, my administrators, my chancellor, my trustees, and my guests. You honor me personally as you honor us and my new colleagues in public health. I thank you. I am indebted to you. All this success is part of your success and part of your achievement. Thank you so much. The party is over. Or better still, the party is just beginning.